At the end of Paul's letter to the Philippians, chapter 4 specifically, he has just these marvelous words of encouragement, instruction, and a little bit challenging to us. But they give us a guide. They give us a pathway. They provide some guardrails for us to stay on the road in the midst of what can be just a bumpy, jagged, ragged season of travel and journey. Beginning in verse 4 of chapter 4, let me read this. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but rather in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, that is, it is beyond what we can imagine or comprehend or completely fathom. The peace of God will guard our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. So what are we to do? We're to rejoice. We are to find those things out there, celebrate, give thanks for, rejoice, those things that we are to be joyful in. We are to not be anxious, but rather when we feel our anxiety starting to rise up and seize us, we are to move to a season of prayer, to be in prayer, to bring these things before God, to place them at the very feet of God, those things that are making us anxious and kind of causing us to seize up a little bit, to find those things of joy and rejoice in them, to find those things that are causing anxiety and lay them in prayer at the very feet of God. And then he says, and he continues, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have heard from me, learned from me, received from me, or seen in me, Paul writes to the Philippians, those things that you've learned or received or heard or seen me practice, me be about, you put those things into practice. And the God of peace will be with you. Twice, Paul says, the peace of Christ will guard your heart and mind. The God of peace will be with you. But there are some instructions. There are some steps we need to take. They are steps of being joyful. They are steps of being a person of prayer. They are steps of finding those things and remembering those things that are true, that are right, that are noble, that are praiseworthy, that are lovely, that are excellent. Maybe we need to pull a piece of paper out, or I need to pull a piece of paper out and begin to jot those things down, begin to make notes of those things that are true and noble and excellent and praiseworthy and lovely, and just make a list. And when I find myself on a bumpy road, maybe I need to pull that list out and begin to look at it and find the joy of those truths, of those experiences, of those relationships, of those circumstances, of the faithfulness and the provision of our God, and find the joy in those things. Because God assures us and God promises us here through the words of Paul that he will guard our hearts and minds, that he will keep us and hold us in peace. So let's put those things into practice. Let's literally practice those things in these moments when we are on a road that needs some new pavement, when we are on a road that needs to be addressed and transformed. Let God do the work of transforming us in the midst of that, for he will hold us with assurance. He will hold us in peace. May the joy be yours. God bless you. We'll chat next week.